Take a break from the weather for just a minute for a look back in time, because tucked away in Amador County is a castle. Preston Castle out in Ione is known for its Halloween haunt, but there's a lot of history that people just don't talk about. And the castle wasn't home to royalty or the rich or anything like that, but it was a reform school, and one that was originally housed at the infamous San Quentin State Prison. Photojournalist Xavier URT introduces us to the group who is fighting to keep that memory alive.
My love of the castle is the structure, what it means to Ione, the fact that it stands on the hill, and then the whole history behind it. People think that it's a grand mansion. It was built as a reform school for boys, and that's all that it was ever used for.
When the state closed the building in 1960, their plans were to bulldoze the building. They allowed the interior of the castle to be stripped of all of its furnishings, doors, you name it, it was hauled away.
That's the thing with the Preston Castle Foundation. I mean, we're really committed to preserving the building. I mean, that's our goal, is to preserve the history and preserve the building. My grandmother and a couple of cousins were involved in saving the castle back in the 60s when the state's plan was to tear the building down. A group of local women got together and basically fought with the state for 8 years.
The three ladies managed to get the castle designated as a state historic landmark. So the castle is, as of the mid-1960s, a state historic landmark.
The state finally in 1968 agreed to not tear the building down, but also not to do anything to keep it standing.
They stripped the slate tile roof off the main wing of the castle in 1960 on their way out, which allowed the rain to come in for the next 40 years, which caused a great deal of damage, structural damage from the water coming into the castle.
It was pretty devastating to see how bad a shape the building was in, because from the exterior you can't always tell that.
Thousands of young men came through this building in the years that it was in operation, with the goal that they all move on to a better non-criminal life.
They would go to school for a half a day, and then they would learn a trade the other half of the day. So they were set up to be successful when they went out. But being housed at Folsom and San Quentin with adults prior to this facility being built was not a good model for success. By
the summer of 1895, there were over 160 boys living here inside the castle.
There's some people that come here and they go, oh, it's so sad and it's evil, and you know, these were bad boys, and it's like, they weren't all. You know, back then kids were sent here because they were living on the street. Their parents had died, or there was too many kids to take care of, so they just got set free. You still had a group of kids that really were just in a bad situation, and this really was what brought them out of that.
The public only ever got to see the castle after 2001, when the nonprofit foundation, Preston Castle Foundation, was formed to save the Preston Castle. Prior to that, even though it was a state historic landmark, it was fenced off and closed, and nobody could really see it other than from a great distance. We're not very good in the United States at preserving things. This is one of two significant examples of Romanesque revival architecture in Northern California, preserving the history of not only the castle, but the entire school and all the people who went through here, the boys and the staff members and their families. Back in the day, the school was the largest employer. It was the economic engine of the community. This was the biggest employer.
We do anything we can to raise money, pretty much. We do public tours, we do private tours, photo shoots, just about anything we can do to raise money for the castle, and it all goes back into the council, but also to get other people excited in the building and the history.
You have a passion for history, but for people that don't have a passion for history, and they see the castle, they're like, so what? What would you say to them?
You're missing out. It's interesting because people come to the Haunt, which is our biggest fundraiser of the year, and they come because they want to be scared, and it's, you know, a creepy looking building. And then they come out and they go, I want to come back. I want to see what it really looks like. I want to know the history.
And if you're curious too, as she mentioned, they do tours, photo shoots, and they have events all year round. And get this, it's just about 45 minutes outside of Sacramento, so not too bad. If you do want to experience it for yourself, just head to abc10.com/to-the-point. We have all the info there.